Let us start with question number 11. An organization has started a new project. The project executive has asked the project manager to display the minimum value to be achieved using a project canvas. Which PRINCE2 Agile practice is this an example of? A. Risk, B. Progress, C. Business case, or D. Quality? There are big clues in the question. If you recall the concepts well, and those are the minimum value as well as project canvas, or those pertain to the business case practice. So the correct answer would be the business case. Because the actual business case management product will be tailored to the project canvas artifact. The project canvas outlines the best case, worst case, and expected case scenarios to enable delivery of the project objectives and the benefits associated with the various cases. Choice A, risk, is not applicable. It's about how the project team manages uncertainty. Choice B, progress, is about addressing the ongoing achievability of the plans, the monitoring of performance, the escalation process if events do not go as per plan. And it also has the event-based and time-based controls. And overall, this practice is about if and how the project should proceed. Choice D, quality. This is about the outline so that all stakeholders understand how the quality attributes of the products to be delivered, and how project management will ensure that these requirements are also delivered. Question number 12. The project is in the initiating a project process. The Agile coach has recommended that the project should focus on value when producing the project canvas. The project manager set up a workshop to identify the best way to achieve this. Several ideas were discussed. Which idea is the best way to focus on value? You should recollect that a project has an Agile coach in PRINCE2 Agile, and every Agile team within the project will have a team coach. It's possible that there's one team coach for more than one Agile team, but for the overall project, there is a single Agile coach. And the project manager is running a workshop to identify the best way to achieve value when producing the project canvas. And what is the best way for that? Choice A, consider which shared values of Agile are needed to lead to the required reduction in discrimination. B, value the contributions of the workshop participants equally so that they share the ideas on how to reduce discrimination. C, prioritize each user story based on value and align it to the objective to reduce discrimination. D, ensure workshop participants feel accepted with the project team to reduce discrimination. In such questions, it is good to look at which answer choice has some of the words from the question. So here, one of the keywords in the question is the word value. And we see that in choice A, also in choice C, and not in B and D. So it's likely that the answer would be A or C, but we need to validate that. And in Agile, the focus on value ensures that every effort contributes to delivering meaningful outcomes for users and other stakeholders. And when value is prioritized, it enables or supports focusing on solutions that solve real problems. And that leads to better user satisfaction and supports business goals. And therefore, this can be achieved by assigning value to every user story. And that comes through choice C, prioritize each user story based on value and align it to the objective to reduce discrimination. So if this idea is used, then when producing the project canvas, this way of working will ensure the focus on value. Now, let's look at the other choices, considering which shared Agile values are needed to lead to the required reduction in discrimination. Now, there are 4 values based on the Agile Manifesto, and these are the foundation of Agile way of working. It shifts the focus from doing Agile to being Agile. But this is not focusing on value as part of the business case practice, where the project canvas pertains to. Choice B, value the contributions of the workshop participants equally. Now that's also not okay. In fact, as part of psychological safety in an agile environment, that should anyway happen. Employees need to feel the contributor's safety and so that their contributions are appreciated and respected. Choice D, ensuring the workshop participants feel accepted by the project team to reduce discrimination. This is also about the psychological safety aspect. We move on to question number 13. The product owner has started writing personas for 3 marginalized communities that will benefit from the anti-discrimination campaign. One of the communities is homeless people. The advocate knows one homeless person called Pete. Pete used to be a skilled worker but had financial difficulties and ended up homeless. Which is the correct way to write the bio section of the persona for homeless people? A. Write the persona about Pete, who used to be a skilled worker but had financial difficulties and ended up homeless. B. Interview the advocate, who is an expert in the needs of the homeless community and in how to engage with the community. C. Hold a workshop with the advocate, the campaign analyst, and representatives from networking groups to define the needs of homeless people. D. Based on the persona and the population group that Pete represents, including age, gender, occupation, and income. For this, you need to recollect the best practices for writing a persona. And writing persona should be done ideally in a cross-functional workshop where we have the members from the development team and also users as well. And the personas need to be fictional and so that it will ensure a broad range for innovation. And we see that in choice C, we see a whole lot of stakeholders are involved, and that seems to be the correct answer. If you notice quickly A and B, it's just writing a persona about just Pete. And in choice B, we are taking the opinion of just one person, the advocate only. So it's not a collaborative exercise. It's a bit similar to A. And choice D, based on the population group, this is the old way of working in modern world, just basing on age demographics and so on. Such demographics is not the ideal way to do a persona. So C would be correct. Hold a workshop with the advocate, the campaign analyst, and representatives from networking groups to define the needs of homeless people. And for the reason that I mentioned above. So choice, as I mentioned, basing the persona around someone who is known to the advocate is not a good idea for writing personas. And similarly, in choice B, the advocate presence will be necessary, but should not be there alone. And choice D, as I mentioned briefly earlier, this is for the traditional user groups that were historically done according to demographic data. And in Agile, we need to focus on the user needs, where these are the external customers or internal or public users. And based on experience from demographics, such as age, occupation, income, these no longer represent people having the same needs and wants. For example, people of a certain age group need not necessarily have the same needs and wants. They may differ. Next, we move on to question number 14. The anti-discrimination campaign project will also pilot agile ways of working. As a result of this project, an agile transformation plan will be introduced or produced to guide Now BU to adopt more agility. The project manager has documented the agile transformation plan as an expected benefit in the project canvas. Is documenting this as a benefit an appropriate application of the business case practice, and why? So just quickly here in the question, it is indicated that the plan itself has been noted as a benefit in the project canvas. That should give you a big clue whether it's a yes or a no answer. And then you can zoom into the detail behind the yes or no. Choice A, yes, because the project canvas should document the benefits from the agile transformation. Choice B, yes, because the project canvas needs to demonstrate that the project is justified, taking into account the agile transformation. C, no, because the benefits from the agile transformation should occur after the anti-discrimination campaign project has closed. D, no, because an agile transformation plan is not a measurable improvement resulting from the pilot project. Let us analyze and obtain the correct answer. So the Agile Transformation Plan, is it a benefit? We should think about it. It's just an output, isn't it, rather than an outcome or a benefit. So the answer should be no here. And it'll be between C or D. And what is a benefit? It's a measurable improvement resulting from an outcome that is perceived as an advantage by the investing organization and contributes towards one or more business objectives. Therefore, choice D would be correct because that's not a measurable improvement resulting from the pilot project, but only an output. An output is a tangible or intangible deliverable of an activity. These are specialist products used to enable change. The Agile Transformation Plan itself should be documented as one of the epics or main features within the project product. So D is the correct answer. Choice C, benefits from the transformation should occur after the campaign project has closed. This is a true statement. However, it does not explain the reasoning for the correct answer. Choice A or B can be ruled out because those are yes statements. And let's look at A and B anyway. A, because the project canvas should document the benefits from the agile transformation. This is a correct statement, but it doesn't give the proper reasoning for the answer. And the choice B, the canvas needs to demonstrate that the project is justified, taking into account the agile transformation. But then again, we cannot relate it to the actual question and its correct answer. And then we have question number 15. Certain staff members from the marketing agency Bright Pulse who have delivery team roles on the anti-discrimination campaign will be located at the Bright Pulse offices as they need access to specific design systems. Now BU's collaboration system will be used to provide visibility of the backlogs, release plans and dashboards to the Bright Pulse staff. In which artifact should this co-location arrangement be recorded? A, issue management approach, B, commercial management approach, C, project management team structure, or D, role descriptions. Let's take a look at all these four choices. The first, issue management approach, it will describe how the issues will be captured and reported and how changes to the project baseline will be assessed and controlled. So that is an incorrect one. B, commercial management approach. This is it is a description of the different forms of procurement and the contract needs that will ensure that it supports agile approaches to product development. For example, fixed delivery teams costs or cost per iteration, a definition of the MVP and possible tolerances, and use of an agreed definition of done. And also guidelines for delivery team self-management and for tracking and reporting. And the arrangements for co-location or remote teams are not a guideline in the form of procurement or within the commercial management approach. Choice C, project management team structure. This would be correct because it defines who is involved in the project, the relationships, and how they will work together. And the working practices described should reflect agile ways of working and define any techniques, metrics, artifacts, and so on. So that should be used across the project. And it should also include arrangements for co-location or remote teams with a special focus on agile techniques and tools to enable transparency and rich communication. Last choice, role descriptions. It describes the roles of those in the project management team and their specific responsibility. And the arrangements for co-location or remote teams are not a role responsibility. Therefore, choice C is the best one. Next, we have question number 16. During iteration 2, the delivery teams will be working on the campaign design mockups for all 4 campaign channels. Which role should prioritize the requirement to use a common tone and branding on all communications across all delivery teams? A, project executive, B, chief product owner, C, project manager, or D, product owner. The key clue in the question is all communications across all delivery teams. The word delivery is important and the word all is important. Choice A, project executive, B, chief product owner, C, project manager, D, product owner. And you should recollect that the chief product owner ensures priorities are clearly defined across teams, across delivery teams. Therefore, B, Chief Product Owner. Then choice A, Project Executive. They approve the tolerances for agile decision making, and common tone and branding are not the elements of value delivery. Then choice C, Project Manager. They act as a servant leader. They facilitate collaboration between the agile governance and the teams. It does not include prioritization. Choice D, Product Owner. They ensure the product backlog aligns with the project backlog and the continued business justification principle and the project tolerances. They do not prioritize across the teams. And so the only person who does that, or the role who does that, is the Chief Product Owner. Question number 17. The chair of Now BU has a strong focus on policy development and governance and wishes to receive regular formal written status reports on the anti-discrimination campaign. The chair is not willing to pull information from the project dashboard as an alternative. Which role should work with the project manager to address the chair's resistance and why? A. Project assurance, because this role monitors adherence to agile practices. B. Project assurance, because this role helps to manage reporting requirements for all stakeholders. C. Agile coach, because this role facilitates smooth communication between governance roles and teams. D. Agile coach, because this role should offer guidance on blockers to agile adoption. As we have seen so far, understanding the question correctly and identifying the situation in the question and understanding that is key to coming to the correct answer. And we can see here that the chair is not willing to pull information. So there is some sort of a resistance. And therefore, choice D seems apt. The agile coach, because this role should offer guidance on blockers to agile adoption. A quick look tells us that A is about monitoring agile practices adherence. B, managing reporting requirements. So it is not about practices and reporting, but it's more about the resistance, which is about the adoption, about being agile rather than doing agile. C also is about the agile coach, because the role facilitates smooth communication. While it is about being agile, but it's about on the communication side. So C is also ruled out. Therefore, D would be correct. So the agile coach is a mentor and facilitator who helps organizations adopt and sustain agile principles and practices. They should work across teams to identify and remove systemic blockers to agile adoption. So choice A, project assurance. They do monitor the adherence to agile practices, and to the agile principles as well, but they do not support the project manager to address agile adoption risks. The risk here is the chair's resistance to agile adoption. Similarly, B, project assurance. They should help, but it is a project support who should really help to manage the reporting requirements for all stakeholders by updating and pulling information from the project or team dashboards. Now, the project assurance can provide advice on better ways of reporting and so on to the project manager. And so therefore, B is also incorrect. And this is more about the resistance from the chair for the agile adoption. And project assurance can help in giving the right advice on the reporting aspect, and project support can help to provide the chair with the reports. It's choice C, agile coach, because this role facilitates smooth communication between governance roles and teams. And here also, it is a project support who facilitates smooth communication between the governance roles and teams. And again, the actual issue of the resistance to agile adoption is not considered in choice C.